Hi, I'm Suzy Rhoades with PassMasters. In this week's video, I'm going to discuss homeowners policies, the different ones that there are to choose from, and a little bit about their loss valuation and perils insured against. So we have HOs, including HO2, HO3, HO4, HO5, HO6, and HO8. The HO2 is called the broad form. It is a form that is broad named peril. So that means that only perils that are listed are covered. Broad form, HO2. The HO3 is the special form. It is all risk open peril on the dwelling and on other structures. So dwelling coverage is found under coverage A, and other structures is coverage B. So how do you know what's covered on an HO3? You need to read the exclusions. However, it is important to note that on an HO3, what is all risk is only the dwelling. The contents coverage, the personal property coverage, which is coverage C, personal property, is broad named peril. So coverage C, personal property, is broad named peril. So when we're talking about an HO2, coverage A, B, and C are all broad named peril. The HO3 is special only on the dwelling and other structures. It is named peril on the contents. The HO4 is for renters. It is a contents form, and it is broad form. So it has the same named perils that you found on the HO2 that you found on this contents coverage under the HO3. So the HO4 for renters. So we have coverage C, that is the most important contents coverage for the HO4. It is named peril. The HO5 is the comprehensive form. So the HO3 is the most commonly sold, but the HO5 is the broadest coverage. It is all risk. It is open peril. And you're thinking, but I thought you said that the HO3 was. Well, the HO3 is, but only on the dwelling and other structures. HO5 is all risk on the dwelling, other structures, and on the contents. So A, B, and C are all open peril. So everything is covered unless it is specifically excluded, like earthquake, flood, never covered, war, nuclear hazard, intentional loss, neglect, wear and tear, deterioration. Those are always excluded. The HO6 is the unit owner's form. So if you have a condo or a townhouse, unit owners. The HO6, like the HO2, is broad named peril. So broad named peril, and HO6 has a very limited amount of coverage. It's what we call walls in coverage or studs in coverage for the interior of the unit. There is no coverage B on an HO6. We have coverage C, broad named peril, on an HO6. The HO8 is quite unique. The HO8 is a modified form for older homes. And it has the least amount of named perils. It has basic named perils. So coverage A, B, and C are all basic named perils. It has a unique description for loss valuation for the dwelling, the HO8. They talk about here functional replacement cost. Functional replacement cost. When we talk about coverages A and B on the HO8. So it's an older home. They're not going to repair, rebuild, restore it exactly the same as it was because it's an older home, but they're going to make it as similar as they can. Functional replacement cost coverage. All of the other policies provide what is just called replacement cost coverage. So when we talk about coverages A and B on a homeowner's policy, we have replacement cost coverage. So replacement cost coverage, the cost to repair, rebuild, restore, it's only going to be true about a homeowner's policy if adequate limits are carried. Adequate limits means that the limit is the least it can be is 80% of the current replacement cost at the time of loss. 80% or higher ensures that the policy provides replacement cost coverage. If the limit is not adequate, meeting the 80% clause, then the insurer has two choices. They can pay a depreciated value claim, which is replacement cost minus depreciation, actual cash value, or they can apply the coinsurance percentage, and then there's a penalty when you don't carry adequate limits. So the insurer is going to do whichever of those two results in a greater claim being paid to the insured. So the property itself is replacement cost coverage on the HO2, HO3, HO5, so long as adequate limits are carried. And then we talked about functional replacement cost for the HO8. Now note something important here. Coverage C, actual cash value. Coverage C is depreciated value. No matter which one of these that we're talking about, they're all covered the same. They are all covered ACV. So that's not to say that a homeowner can't add an endorsement that makes sure that their contents is covered replacement cost. Remember, this video is to help you understand how to pass your test. For the test, contents coverage on all homeowners is always depreciated value. So once again, the best coverage is provided by the comprehensive form because it is open risk, all peril on all three coverages A, B, and C. Replacement cost coverage only applies to coverages A and B. Contents, personal property, coverage C is always depreciated value. I hope you learned something. If you did, be sure to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and turn those notifications on. If you have any questions at all regarding this video, just ask me in the comments below. If you'd like to check out PassMasters course offerings or to enroll in any of our programs, this topic, homeowners, is a 2.5-hour video in the actual course. Check out the link that's found in this video's description. As always, thank you so much for watching. Keep up the good work. You can do it. Happy studies. Study, 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 pass.